What's up, everybody? You know what time it is. You know what the day is. You know what we're doing. It's before the game. It's Sunday. It's time for GB and QC. And GB stands for
G Push in the building.
G Bush in the building. Quincy's in the building. We're going to have fun on today's episode of GBQC. First things first, we're going to take care of some business here. Browns versus the Steelers. And I mentioned this on my preview that this is a very weird week when it comes to the Browns Steelers rivalry because one, it don't feel like it has the last couple of years where that importance was there. And two, honestly, the injury report is a bigger storyline than the game. The game's a little bit of an afterthought. No disrespect to the Steelers. I still think they're a solid team, but we're more worried about who's going to be playing quarterback, who's going to be healthy. There's some good news on the injury front. Looks like Baker's been practicing the last few days here. But, G, where are you at with this rivalry game? Does it still feel like Browns Steelers to you, or does it feel a little different because the Browns got that big win over Pittsburgh at Heinz last year?
Nah, it kind of still feel a little bit about Brown Steelers. I think it still has that punch a little bit. When I was getting this stuff together for the preview show that I had on my channel, I was just like, man, is it kind of – I think we're a little down because we got so many people out. I think if we had our full complement of guys and I think everybody was back and everybody was in that rotation, I think we will still feel it a little bit. I'm one of them people that – I gotta have get back on the Steelers. Like I need, Big Ben's record against us is what, like 101. I mean, we've beaten him, including playoffs, I think 3 times or something crazy like that. So for me, anytime I can get a dub on the Steelers, I'm gonna take it. I really want them to lose the next 14. I need them to draft a quarterback 3 or 4 times and then miss on the quarterback. And then I need Tomlin to get fired, not just because Mike Tomlin is a bad person or anything, but I need you to go through the same thing that I went through. I need your coaches to get fired. I need you to be on the front pages. I need you to have turmoil in the front office. I need people to have signs talking about what the heck is Rooney doing. Until that happens, I need the alternate world to happen to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I think this is just the beginning with Big Ben and taking this L this week.
I don't know if y'all familiar with this interview, but it's like the famous meme of Deontay Wilder. And somebody's asking him, and pretty much G. Bush just gave you the Cleveland Browns version of the Deontay Wilder rant, where he's like, it's been 25 years. I ain't forgot to this date. To this date. To this date.
At all. I need all of that. Like, I need all the smoke. I need all the smoke. I need them to draft the number 1 quarterback, and then he get injured for the whole year, the first day of rookie camp or something. Like
I need the Pittsburgh Steelers to just turn into Michigan. You know what I mean? Like that's what every time I talk to my dad's a big Ohio State fan, and my dad be talking about some Michigan, all this, like the rivalry's still there. I'll be like, look, man, I understand that you still take Michigan seriously because you grew up he didn't grow up, but you went through the 90s.
Yeah,
you went through the whole what was the coach there that kept on losing all them damn games? John Cooper. And you had Eddie, all these guys, Eddie George and all that, and you still was losing these games to Michigan and all that, and you still got that anger fed up in you. But I'm of a different generation. I ain't really start watching Ohio State till like Jim Tressel was there. And look, as somebody who grew up in that generation, the Gen Z era. Well, I'm not Gen Z. I'm still technically a millennial, but like that millennial Gen Z era of Ohio State football, let me tell you something. Michigan is hilarious. We just be looking at Michigan like, yo, y'all go get ranked 6. That's gonna be funny when Ohio State beats you.
Yeah,
I don't even watch Ohio State as much as I used to when I was a kid anymore. I just kind of watch Michigan for the memes. I'm like, I can't wait till Michigan blow this. I can't wait. You ever notice that every good player to come out of Michigan is always much better than NFL that they've ever been at Michigan?
Like that's how you know you messing with John Cooper stats. Every player that came out of Ohio, you be like, man, they should be blowing Michigan. They get right to the league and be like, man, I didn't know. How did these guys on one team all lose? How did they lose any games? Well, let me tell you.
People ask me all the time, why is Tom Brady? How in the world did people miss on him? How was he a 6th-round pick? Dog, he played at Michigan. Like, yeah, man. It ain't gonna go down like that. Why you think Donovan Peoples-Jones, super talented, 6th-round pick? Because he played at Michigan. right?
Man.
When you play at Michigan, people are either going to assume that your coaching was so terrible that you have to be better than what you played at, or that what you played at was so bad because it's just Michigan. You know what I mean? But
I will
that's
give
just
him.
the
I will
difference
give
in
him this one.
generations. And hopefully my nephew can grow up thinking this about the Steelers, right? Where he's like, Steelers, bro. Like, why would I ever be worried about Pittsburgh? We the Browns. That I will be you, where I'm like, look, I can't never not take them serious. I want them to, because I done grew up through too much pain and 25 years of suffering that the Steelers done put us through. But when it comes to them, I just hope that they become Michigan. You know what I mean?
I will say one cool thing about Michigan and Ohio State is they always, back in the day, people, for the young kids that don't get it, back in the day, there used to be one game a week on kids, and it was just a game. Like, they picked the game. It wasn't like ESPN and CBS and Fox 1, 2, and 6. They didn't have all that. It was the game of the week. And if you wasn't the game of the week, we just saw your score. and every single year, Michigan and Ohio State was the game of the week, and they had the best announcers of all time, led by Keith Jackson. And he should just say the greatest things in the world. Well, Tyrone Wheatley. He's big, he's fast, and he's strong. Wheatley. And you'd be like, what? This, I just want, this is crazy. Then they had Brett Musburger. And they just had all the best announcers in those games. So at least you got to hear some of the greatest announcers in our industry do what they do Ohio State, Michigan.
Yeah, but let me tell you something. Even if Ohio State's garbage, like Ohio State's not that good this year. They're all right, but they ain't real. I feel like ain't no way Michigan gonna win. Why? What football reason do you have for Michigan not winning this game? Dog, it's just Michigan. Like, I think that's my one last college. Like, I don't really cheer for a squad when it comes to Division I college football because I just went to a different school, so it's harder for me to do that. But when it comes to my fandom for Ohio State, look, I might not be the diehard Buckeye fan anymore, but you know what I am? A diehard Michigan hater. I just don't like Michigan. Like, I just think every time Michigan fails, it's hilarious. I think it's funny that Jim Harbaugh been talking about winning the college football playoff in the damn Michigan State though went there before them. I think all of that is hilarious. That they can't
devolve into Michigan hate. It's just devolved.
It's hilarious to me. Michigan out there, what's so sad about Michigan? They at the point now to where they trotting out Chad Henne and Mike Hart as the legends of the last time.
Oh, Michigan, they're not legends. Come on,
they were still kicking that ass back then.
That was JV legends. Them is JV. You can't roll Henne and Hart out there like that's a dynamic duo or something. They wasn't killing nobody.
I remember when Mike Hart left Michigan crying because he never beat Ohio State once in his life. And y'all out here trotting them out there as the last guards of the vanguard.
The only cats we care about seeing is Charles Woodson.
Come on,
AKA man. Fremont Ross stand up. And he came from Ohio. So I'm just Charles Woodson. He destroyed Ohio. Charles Woodson did his thing.
All that fear Charles Woodson gave you, I avoided that. I went straight to the Denard Robinson, Devin Gardner.
You skipped a whole generation. It's like, let me go to John Navarre.
Look, after Michigan lost to Appalachian State, ain't nobody ever take them seriously.
Oh man,
that was it. That was a wrap for them. They never recovered. They never recovered from it. But I don't know how we got to this point to where we spent more time talking about Ohio State, Michigan than Pittsburgh and Cleveland. We're supposed to be covering the Pittsburgh Browns game. But injury-wise, right, this is debate going on with Baker Mayfield. I am somebody who thinks that the debate is a little bit ridiculous, but people are debating, certain percentage of Baker Mayfield, 100% healthy Case Keenum, which is better for the Browns. I'm going to say my thoughts, but I'm going to let you sound off first, G.
Look, man, here's the way I think about it. If you can't get out there and you can't throw the ball, and if you are, nursing that shoulder and you take a hit on the shoulder and then now you out, what the rest? See, here, it's the way it usually works. I remember, trust it, take it from a guy who had 13 surgeries. 13. You never quite heal from football anyway, right? And right now, yeah, you could play a couple plays, bro. But when you get hit and then that arm comes out or it does whatever it's going to do, then you're really gonna be on the shelf because they're gonna tell you, look, bro, you're gonna have to get this, you're gonna have to get the surgery, and you're gonna have to chalk it up. Now he's gonna be out for me for a while, just for the simple fact of they still need a bone to fuse, and it's cracked. And I had all kind of orthopedic surgeons calling the show, talk about he gonna be out 4 to 6, 7 weeks, whatever the case may be. For me, if Case Keenum can throw a football, he don't got to worry about getting hit. I can run everything on the playbook. The game plan is still the same. It's an easy call. I'm going to sit him until he's ready to play. I don't 85%. I need 100. Like give me the 100, and I'll take that, and we'll fight our chances because the Browns got a heck of a roster.
All right. So I'm gonna just let you know. I disagree with you, G. Bush.
You gonna play him?
Oh yeah. Well, look, this week I think there's more of an argument, right? This week you playing the Steelers. Steelers can't really score like that. You should be able to beat the Steelers with Case Keenum. So I get that for this week. But next week, I mean, the Bengals just put up 40 on the Ravens. And look, man, I know what Case Keenum is. I know people try to tell me he's something that he ain't. But Case Keenum been the same dude for the last 10 years, which is a dude who's going to take 4.5 minutes to score the ball. And that's if everything's working, right? Like, that's just the offense with Case Keenum. And in the NFL, probably not scoring more than like 25 points with a dude like Case Keenum on a regular basis. You might be able to get off against a really bad defense for 35, but that's just is what it is, right? He's like a basketball player that can't create his own shot, or can't shoot, right? There's only so much production you can get from him. Like, and look, against certain teams, you get out there with Case Keenum. You can beat the Lions with Case Keenum. You can beat probably Pittsburgh with Case Keenum. There's a lot of teams out there that you could beat with Case Keenum. That's why Case Keenum's still a backup in the NFL. The reason Case Keenum ain't a starter is because Case Keenum can't stretch that ball out past 25 yards. And that's a problem, right? When you start playing these teams that you're going to have to shoot out with, that is an issue. So if Baker, and look, I don't know, because every time I mention this injury, there are 5 different orthopedic surgeons who are magically in my YouTube. I didn't know I was such a hit in the YouTube doctor community. I didn't know that, it's a lot of people that work at Rainbows, Babies, and Kids that's out here watching this channel. Shout out to y'all. I didn't know so many of y'all were medically accredited. But every time I mention this, I get so many comments from so many different, oh, he can play. Oh, it can't get worse. Oh, it can't. I don't know what the deal is. From what I've heard from certain people, some players, they're like, it's one of them injuries that's going to hurt, but you don't really want to get the surgery during the year because it's not really going to change anything, and the recovery takes too long for you to get back in the year. So it's one of those things where it's probably just going to hurt. And if it just hurt, he can play.
Let me ask you this question. Let me ask you this question. Do you think Kevin Stefanski, this is where the play comes in, right? Kevin Stefanski brought Case Keenum in for a reason. Do you, just like you saw a couple weeks ago with Odell Beckham Jr., he said Odell was like, can you go? It was the first week, I think first week in Kansas City, he would have practiced a little bit, and Odell was out there. He said, nah, he's not going to go. And then the next week, he just blatantly was like, nah, Odell's not playing. He's not playing this week. Do you think this is up to Baker, the training staff, ownership, or Coach Stefanski? Who's making that final call?
I think at this point it's going to be up to Baker, and here's why.
All right.
Because if you're Kevin Stefanski at the beginning of the year, you could have afforded to play it safe, because nobody's back's against the wall right there at the beginning of the season. Yeah. But right now you 4-3, and you're looking at a division that has a 5-2 Baltimore team and a 5-2 Cincinnati team. You got them both upcoming on your schedule, and you have a Pittsburgh team who historically you have had an issue beating. So if that is going to be the case, right, and you're going to be struggling like that or be in battles, you don't really want to go in there with option B. And look, Case Keenum is cool, but he's option B. He is the donut that you keep in the back of your truck. He is not the tire. So he is option B. You can't go on the highway with Case Keenum. That is just
fifth wheel. He ain't the fifth wheel that you got that come with the treaded already. He don't put this
you put on to get to the shop. You know what I mean? Like, if you get to the shop with them, maybe you get a trip to Walmart if you feeling extra frisky with the tire, but you ain't trying to drive that thing too long, and you definitely ain't trying to go over 60 with it. So if that is the case, right, then you got to look at Baker Mayfield, and you just got to ask him, can you play? Because honestly, before the end of that game, when he came back from that same injury during the game, the zip on the ball looked fine, the arm strength looked fine, and now he's gonna have the luxury of having his 2 tackles back there, which he didn't when he was getting hurt. So you're just like, all right, well, we feel confident about our ability to block now. We're just gonna throw you back there, and you have to do a thing, because at this point you need to put the best option out there. You can't be playing for the future, because one, this roster has too much invested in this year alone. All these 1-year deals. This is a roster built to win the Super Bowl this year, maybe next year, but this year is one of those years.
Definitely,
you can't
the window
it.
is this year.
And I'm
now.
Sorry, you don't spend all this money on defensive pieces, on offensive pieces to have Case Keenum as your quarterback. That is not what you do out here.
This is going to be very, very.
If Baker says he can play and he says he's fine and he's going to be okay, you got to trust it and you got to go with them, because ultimately, I already know, and people can tell me Case Keenum went to the NFC Championship. The NFC is a different world than what the AFC is right now. Yeah, Nick Foles also made the championship game that year too. Like that was an anomaly year where he did that. But this year, you have to put up points to be able to win the AFC, and you know that the only quarterback on this roster you can win a Super Bowl with is 6. Now, if you had another option out there, maybe we could look at another option out there. But the only quarterback on this roster I feel like you can win a Super Bowl with is 6. So if 6 can play, you got to put him out there. Look, it's football. You can get hurt any game in football, doing anything in football. So
it's going to be really crazy next week. Next week, our show going to be dynamic. If the Browns come out here and beat the Steelers, and they look good, Case Keenum looks good, we're going to have a major dialogue about Baker, Case Keenum, because that gives Case Keenum a win, real big win.
This is like with Ryan Fitzpatrick. Everybody does this where they start drinking the Case. This happens with every team that signs Case Keenum. Case Keenum is going to give you 2 games. I'm telling you right now.
This is 1 and 2.
Case Keenum is capable of giving you 2 games, maybe 3, right? And I'm telling you right now, Denver was one. I told you last week. Pittsburgh is another one.
That boy Quincy good. I like him. I like that boy. He's good over here.
Yeah. You know what I mean? But the problem with Case, like, because you know how you get on the donut and you think, I don't need to get my tire fixed till next week, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna get this plug.
Get on the highway. Yeah, then you have to get on your highway, and all of a sudden, you're like, ooh, gotta get off this donut. Gotta make a detour and go to NTB real quick to get my tire fixed, because he's not the real. Like, this is what everybody has. The Denver Broncos have went through this. The Minnesota Vikings have went through this. The Washington football team has went through this. Any team that has had Case Keenum and has tried to be serious with Case Keenum understands that there are limitations that come with Case Keenum. So and right now, when you ain't got to put up that many points, you ain't going to be tripping on them limitations. But let the Browns go down 14 and Case Keenum out there throwing screens. And then you all of a sudden, you're going to be like, okay, Case Keenum got to go. Okay, especially
now here,
open down the field.
Check down Charlie. Now here's it. Check down Charlie. He's a good ball player. He's a decent ball player for what you need. Here's my thing, and you so eloquently pointed out. The problem with check down Charlie is at some point in time, all players, all quarterbacks, no matter who you are going to have to threaten the defense 20 to 30 yards down the field and do it significantly so that you can run the football. That's what the Cleveland Browns want to do. If check down Charlie can't do that, it's going to come to an end sooner or later. Some defensive coordinator is going to just pony up and just make those throws. Now the case is
they'll just run cover 2 and let you get all that. Okay, you want to get 5 yards in a chunk? Okay, we'll just run cover 2, let you get all that, contain it, and then get you off the field on 3rd down. Like, it's really easy to contain those dudes if you have a good defense. And again, man, Case Keenum, like, no disrespect to Case Keenum. I don't think Case Keenum is a bad backup quarterback. I think he's a good backup quarterback. But homie's a backup quarterback. Like, at the end of the day, we know that if Baker isn't consistent, we know what Baker's peak can be, and that's wildly better.
I'll give you that. His peak, Baker Mayfield's peak is better. Baker Mayfield has a longer down the field arm. He can do certain things, and Baker
I can reasonably believe that, hey, if you need a big game in the playoffs, Baker is capable of giving you a big game in the playoffs. It might not come when you need it. I don't know when it's going to come, but he's not consistent. I'll give Baker that. I'll throw that one on him. He has not been consistent, but when he's on, he could be the best player on the field if he needs to, and he's done that before, right? 5 touchdown games. Usually it's against Cincinnati, like, but
you are building into this natty game, because
yeah.
I feel like you got the Browns for a win. I think you think like I do. I think the Browns will get this win at home, and then it comes down to this game against Cincinnati, and we did not think that the Bengals were going to be at the top of the division, but this is a pivotal game, and if you can go to that game, that's a very, very important game in the AFC North, and I'm anxious to see what Kevin Stefanski's temperature is like. I want to see it. Is he going to pull the trigger on that? He going to pull the trigger on that?
Here's what I'll tell you right now. Here's what I'll tell you right now. 1, Baker might play on Sunday. 2, Baker, if he play against the Bengals, Browns probably going to win that. Nah, I'm confident.
You already on paper? Listen, he on paper right now. This is 2 weeks early.
No. People don't forget what this team got. First of all, this is what people sleeping on. The Browns finally getting healthy. Offensive line, Nick Chubb. Maybe you get Kareem Hunt back. We got Dearness Johnson. I mean, we got it all back there.
Jarvis is back. Then, 10 more
hopefully,
days.
In a couple of weeks, you get JLK back. All of a sudden, you're looking pretty healthy there as a team. And then people forgot that this is a team that people thought would be the best team in the AFC. They've struggled a little bit early on. They haven't looked like you wanted them to, but they've also been injured. And look, we act like Baker ain't got it right versus Cincinnati before. Like they had Joe Burrow last year. Like
this Jamar Chase guy.
Jamar Chase makes it different. And that defense is playing a lot better. But we'll talk about that next week. But now we're going to move on to part 2 of GBQC. It's going to be on Gbqc's channel. Check it out there. We're going to sign out from here. Go check out part 2.